This moment was written in heaven, and Archangel Michael was sent to make sure you wouldn't miss it. Beloved, stay. Do not scroll. Do not look away. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine intervention. Heaven leaned in. The Spirit of God moved, and your name was spoken in the courts of glory. That's why you're hearing this now. I am Archangel Michael. For generations, I have been a messenger of war and protection. I have guarded the throne. I have carried decrees from heaven to earth. And today I was sent for you. You are not here by accident. You were drawn here by divine alignment. Your feet were ordered. Your spirit was summoned. Because there is something God needs you to hear. And what happens next will begin a reversal that could only come from heaven itself. There has been a war over your name, a battle over your mind, attacks against your peace, your family, your body. And you thought it was random. You thought it was just stress or bad luck, but I was there. I saw it unfold. And I have been dispatched with a heavenly scroll in hand to declare that your healing and your protection have already begun. Psalm 91:11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." That scripture is not just words. It is an order. It is a promise sealed with the authority of heaven. And you, beloved child, have been the subject of that command. Yes, the warfare was heavy. Delay tried to convince you that God had forgotten. Sickness knocked on your door when you had no strength left to fight. Betrayal came from the people you trusted the most. But none of it could cancel what heaven already wrote about you. This moment is sacred. This is the point where what was meant to destroy you begins to lose its grip. This is the hour where heaven releases the word you've been waiting for. And the chains, yes, the ones you've carried silently, will begin to break. I stood beside you on nights when your tears soaked the pillow and no one knew. I stood between you and forces that wanted your mind to break. I stood at the gates of your heart when you almost shut down. And I say to you now, heaven has remembered you. God saw the weight, he heard your cry, and he sent me. Michael, the guardian of divine decree. To tell you this, your name has been spoken before the throne, not whispered, declared, spoken by the mouth of the Almighty, marked in fire, inscribed in glory, held in the hands of the one who holds time itself. This is not just a message. This is a release, a command, a breaking open of everything that's been locked for too long. Beloved, stay. Do not treat this lightly. Do not assume this is just another video or another voice. This is heaven speaking through the layers of time to reach you now, to lift you now, to heal you now, to protect you now. I, Michael, testify this truth to you. The battle over your life was intense because the calling on your life is weighty. And the enemy would not fight so hard if there wasn't something valuable in your future. You've survived things you never told anyone about. You've walked through fires that would have consumed others. But you're still here. Not because you are lucky, not because you were overlooked by the attack, but because angels were assigned to you. Assigned, not loosely watching, not casually present. Assigned like warriors, like sentries, like guardians of a royal bloodline. Because you are royal in spirit, you are marked for heaven's purpose. And the reversal begins now. Let this be the moment you breathe again. Let this be the moment your spirit knows you were not abandoned, you were preserved, protected, prepared. What tried to delay you could not destroy you. What tried to break you only positioned you. What looked like silence was actually strategy. Beloved, declare this now. I am covered. I am chosen. I am healed. I am not forgotten. Say it out loud. Whisper it if you must. Let the words come through your lips as an act of agreement. Because when you speak what heaven speaks, things begin to shift. Atmospheres change, healing accelerates. Breakthrough moves from unseen to undeniable. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are not unseen. You are standing in the exact moment heaven ordained for you to receive what was delayed. This is not the beginning of the end. This is the end of what tried to stop your beginning. God has appointed this time. Heaven has guarded your journey. And I, Michael, have carried the message that the seal of protection has already been placed over your life. The next part will uncover what's been fighting you behind the scenes and why heaven is ready to expose it, heal it, and silence it forever. Stay. Do not scroll. Do not walk away. This is only the beginning, and your healing has already begun. If you believe Archangel Michael is guarding you tonight, type "protected" in the comments as your declaration of faith and covering. You thought it was just stress, just exhaustion, just a season you had to push through. But what you didn't know is that the enemy was targeting your very identity. Beloved, this pain wasn't random. The heaviness wasn't just emotional. There was a battle happening behind the scenes, one your eyes could not see, but your soul felt every day. I am Archangel Michael, and I have watched from the edges of eternity as unseen forces attempted to wear you down piece by piece. They didn't come with horns or fire. They came with delay. They came with betrayal. They came through people who once called you family, who once called you friend. You saw situations falling apart. You felt anxiety rise without reason. You lost sleep, lost strength, and questioned if God still saw you. But I am here to tell you, I am here to tell, He did. And so did I. John 10:10 says, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." What you've been battling wasn't just emotional confusion. It was a targeted attempt to steal your identity, to kill your confidence, to destroy your assignment. And I, Michael, was assigned to intervene. You didn't see the arrows that were aimed at you in the spirit, but I caught them. You didn't hear the whispers that tried to speak death into your purpose, but I silenced them. I stood at the door of your mind when anxiety came to devour. When thoughts raced in the night, convincing you to quit, to hide, to doubt, I stood guard. And by the command of the Most High, I pushed back every shadow that tried to convince you you were unworthy, unloved, or forgotten. The betrayal that cracked your heart, that was an assignment. The sudden isolation, a setup. The opportunity that fell through right when it was in your hands, an arrow. But not every attack succeeded. Not every plan hit its mark. Because heaven was defending you, even in your silence. The truth is, you've been targeted because you are chosen. And chosen ones are often wounded first because their calling disrupts darkness. You weren't imagining the pressure. It really was heavier than most. And that is why this message is reaching you now. Because heaven has declared enough. The patterns stop here. The torment ends now. The sabotage is exposed. And what once came to destroy will now become proof of your protection. Beloved, you didn't deserve what happened to you. The betrayal, the confusion, the way people left without explanation, the way your heart kept loving through abandonment. None of that was wasted. The wounds are real, but so is your covering. Heaven never stopped watching. And today, I was sent to lift the veil, to show you that behind every moment of pain, a shield was raised. Do you remember the day you felt like something broke inside you, but somehow you still woke up the next morning with breath in your lungs? That was me. Do you remember the night you nearly gave up, but peace came out of nowhere like a blanket around your shoulders? That was the presence of heaven surrounding you. Do you remember the voice that whispered, "Keep going," when you thought no one could hear your prayers? That was the voice of the Spirit echoing through eternity. What you survived was not by accident. It was by angelic interception. Beloved, you are not weak. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And what attacked you did so because it feared who you were becoming. You may not have seen the battlefield, but you felt the effects. The exhaustion, the confusion, the way your body carried symptoms that doctors couldn't fully explain. Yes, even your physical pain has roots in the spiritual realm. But this is not where your story ends. This is where the exposure begins. Because what has been hidden is now being revealed. And what once hurt you will now become a testimony. You are not under attack anymore. You are under covering. Say this with me now. I am not the battle. I am the breakthrough. I am not forsaken. I am protected. Let it settle in your spirit. Let it rise in your chest. Let it speak louder than the voice of doubt. Heaven has declared enough, and I, Michael, stand before you with sword drawn and fire in my wings to confirm this truth. You are moving from survival to safety, from confusion to clarity, from torment to restoration. And no power in hell, no voice from your past, no scheme in the dark can override what heaven has just decreed over your life. You will sleep in peace. You will wake in purpose. You will move forward not in fear, but in healing. Because heaven is not just aware of your battle. It is actively breaking every remnant of it now. Stay with me. Do not scroll. Do not walk away. Because in the next part, I will show you what heaven did while you were still weeping. And you will see, you were never forgotten, only fiercely protected. You thought heaven was silent. You thought your prayers vanished into the air and no one was listening. But every moment you suffered, angels were dispatched with your name written across their wings. Beloved, you were never forgotten. Not for 1 second, not in the silence, not in the nights you cried yourself to sleep, not in the seasons when everyone else walked away. I am Archangel Michael, and I was there. When you whispered your final strength into a prayer, I heard it. When you said, "God, where are you?" Heaven answered through tears. When you felt completely unseen, heaven moved in ways you could not perceive. Psalm 56:8 says, "You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Do you understand what that means? It means nothing you felt was wasted. Every sigh, every prayer, every ache of your heart was documented before the throne. Your pain became a language that heaven could translate. And your endurance became a testimony that angels still speak of. I, Michael, revealed to you this truth. Every tear was noted. Every cry echoed through eternity. Even when you thought the silence meant absence, it meant preparation. Heaven wasn't ignoring you. Heaven was shielding you. The silence was strategic. The stillness was protection in disguise. You wanted open doors, but God was building foundations that could not collapse under your destiny. You wanted immediate answers, but heaven was constructing a story that would last forever. You thought nothing was happening, but the warfare over your life was fierce, and we were fighting for you. You did not see what was waiting in the shadows. But we did. There were moments you almost stepped into traps disguised as opportunities. There were people who would have destroyed your peace had you entered their circle. There were agreements forming in the unseen to take what was yours. And heaven said no. Angels held back what would have broken you. We surrounded your path not to stop your progress, but to stop your destruction. We stood at the edges of your destiny and guarded it with fire. We intervened in ways you'll only understand years from now. And when you thought God was being quiet, He was actually rearranging the battlefield. You see, feeling forgotten does not mean you were. The delay was never denial. It was divine positioning. The silence was never rejection. It was protection. And the stillness was never punishment. It was proof that heaven was working on your behalf. Beloved, your life carries a heavenly stamp. The enemy tried to erase it, but it's burned into eternity. It cannot be removed, it cannot be replaced, and it cannot be replicated. You are sealed. When heaven marked you, it wasn't a casual moment. It was eternal identification. There were times the enemy shouted accusations against your name, times he pointed to your pain and said, "They've been forgotten." But God replied, "They are mine." Their story isn't over. And every word spoken against you lost its power in that instant. Do you remember those moments when strength came out of nowhere? When peace visited you for no reason at all? When a random person said exactly what you needed to hear? That wasn't random. That was remembrance. That was heaven whispering, "I see you. I still have you." You survived the silence because the silence was sacred. It was the sound of angels working while you waited. It was the echo of heaven preparing your next chapter. Beloved, the waiting was not wasted. You were hidden for a reason. The world wasn't ready for what you carry. The enemy wasn't ready for what's coming through you. And heaven wasn't going to let anything premature ruin what was meant to be eternal. I, Michael, tell you this with the authority of the throne that sent me. The release begins now because you stayed. You didn't quit when you could have. You didn't walk away when you had every reason to. You kept believing even when faith felt like fragments. And that endurance has triggered a divine release. The season of silence is ending. The sound of movement is returning. Heaven is opening scrolls with your name again. Assignments are being reactivated. Doors that stayed closed are unlocking in perfect sequence. God's remembrance is not delayed. It is divine timing. And His timing is always right on time. You thought heaven forgot you, but heaven was waiting for the moment your heart was strong enough to carry the blessing without breaking. You thought no one saw you, but heaven was watching your endurance, counting every moment as seed for your breakthrough. You thought your tears fell into nothing, but they became the rain that watered your harvest. Beloved, hear me. Your story is not one of abandonment. It is one of preservation. Your silence was not empty. It was full of angels standing guard. Your pain was not meaningless. It was the soil of your transformation. Now, as this message reaches you, I am standing near you. Not in vision, not in fantasy, but in assignment. I have carried this word to you because heaven has written. Remember this one. The books have been opened. The season of hiding is over. The divine spotlight is turning toward you. The pain that made you question your worth will now reveal your calling. The silence that made you doubt will now prove your protection. And the waiting that felt endless will now give birth to acceleration. Say this with me now. God never forgot me. Heaven was fighting for me. My release begins now. Let those words settle in your spirit. Let them echo through the places that still ache. Because the very sound of your agreement releases movement in heaven. Every time you say, "I am not forgotten," light pushes back darkness. The Father has remembered your name. The angels are moving again. And I, Michael, stand as witness that your story is shifting. The release has begun. Heaven is opening what was closed. The silence has ended, and your remembrance has been announced. You were never forgotten. You were fought for. You were preserved for this moment. Stay with me now, because in the next part, I will reveal why the weapons formed against you failed, and how heaven has already declared that they never will prosper. They formed it in secret, but heaven already reversed the impact. Beloved, you may not know what was plotted against you. You may never see the full extent of the traps that were set behind your back, but I do. And I, Archangel Michael, was sent to tell you. It did not work. Isaiah 54:17 says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is from me, says the Lord. The weapon may have been formed, but it was stopped before it could pierce. The attack may have been launched, but it was intercepted before it could land. There were conversations where your name was traded in envy. There were whispers that spoke curses over your future. There were people who smiled at you in the light, but planned your downfall in the dark. But I was there. I saw it, and I shattered their arrows before they reached your heart. You wondered why you felt heavy for no reason, why your body suddenly grew tired, why your emotions collapsed in waves when nothing made sense. Beloved, you were under spiritual fire, but heaven refused to let it take root. The enemy has never had to use obvious weapons. He used people. He used patterns, repeated disappointments that wore you down. He used pain, old wounds reopened at just the wrong time. But no matter how carefully he formed them, no matter how precisely he aimed them, they did not prosper. Because you are sealed, marked by heaven, guarded by the blood of the Lamb, surrounded by angels, and covered by a decree that cannot be broken. I have warred on your behalf in battles you didn't even know existed. There were moments your spirit grew weary, not because you were weak, but because the intensity of the attack was real. But even then, I was there. I stood between you and what would have destroyed your joy. I shattered the word curses spoken against your body, your relationships, your mind. I extinguished fires set against your name. What was sent to destroy you is returning void. The very accusation that was spoken against your reputation is dissolving. The sickness that was designed to keep you bedridden is losing its grip. The financial blockage that strangled your resources is already unraveling. The fear that was sent to paralyze you is being cast out by peace. Every weapon, every single one, has failed. Not because of luck, not because the enemy forgot, but because heaven stepped in. You are not vulnerable. You are not defenseless. You are not at the mercy of the darkness. You are a child of the Most High, sealed, chosen, defended, and the seal cannot be removed. Do you feel it even now, the shift in the atmosphere around you? That's not emotion. That's confirmation. Your spirit is sensing what has already begun healing. Healing is not a someday promise. It is an active movement. It is flowing through your spirit. It is covering your mind. It is even touching your physical body. What was spiritual is now becoming visible. The symptoms will begin to ease. The nights will become restful again. The tension in your chest will release, because the weapons that caused them are no longer in operation. Heaven has declared it, and I, Michael, enforce it. Say this aloud right now. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I am covered. I am healed. I am sealed. These are not just words. They are decrees. And when your voice agrees with heaven, something shifts in the spirit realm. You are not under siege. You are under safety. You are not surrounded by chaos. You are surrounded by fire. The holy kind. the kind that burns away curses and purifies the atmosphere around you. The enemy tried to wear you down slowly, through disappointment, delay, confusion. But he underestimated the power of God's hand over your life. You may have been wounded in the process. You may still be feeling the effects. But your healing has already begun, and the weapon that started it has been broken in two. Heaven is restoring what the weapon tried to steal. I see joy returning, laughter coming back into your home, peace settling over your thoughts, even restoration in your relationships. Because what was stolen must be repaid, and the darkness cannot keep what never belonged to it. There is no shadow that can cancel your assignment, no curse that can override God's plan, no delay that can hold back what heaven has released. The battle is not over your past, it is over your future. And that is why it was so fierce. But the fiercest part of the battle is now behind you. The weapons have failed. The assignment has failed. The plan to destroy you has failed. And you, beloved child, are still standing, still breathing, still moving forward into a future that the enemy can no longer access. Heaven has preserved you, not just so you can survive, but so you can thrive. Say it again, I am still standing. The weapons failed. My healing has begun. This is not just a declaration, it is the sound of victory. I, Michael, stand in agreement with what heaven has said over your life. And I testify before the throne. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will reveal why the sickness began breaking today and what is already being restored behind the scenes. You haven't seen the full reversal yet, but you will, because heaven is just getting started. You felt the shift. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't just a passing calm. That was heaven touching what medicine couldn't fix. Beloved, healing has already begun in you, even if your body hasn't caught up, even if the symptoms still whisper, even if the diagnosis still looms. Something deeper has started to move, and that movement came from God. Jeremiah 30:17 says, I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord. Not might, not someday, I will. This promise was written before the pain even began. And today, it is being activated inside your life. I am Archangel Michael, and I have stood beside your bed in moments you didn't remember. I've hovered over you in the nights when pain kept you awake. I've whispered strength into your chest when your lungs felt tight with anxiety. I've watched heaven assign healing to parts of you the world gave up on. And now I've come to tell you heaven is already working inside you. What you're feeling is not just exhaustion, it is transformation. What you're sensing is not just rest, it is recovery. God is restoring you in ways that can't be measured by machines. Many of your physical battles started as spiritual wounds. The trauma you buried in silence began to manifest in your body. The betrayal you endured hardened your chest. The grief you never named caused your strength to drain. The anxiety you carried began to echo in your heartbeat. But those things are being reversed now, because the root of your affliction is being touched by the hand of God. I say this with divine certainty. You were never meant to carry that weight in your chest. You were never created to survive in fear. You were designed for peace, for wholeness, for breath that flows freely, for thoughts that feel safe, for sleep that restores and joy that stays. And now heaven is realigning what life and trauma pulled out of balance. You may not have noticed it yet, but your healing didn't start with a doctor's report. It started with a divine touch, and that touch is still flowing. Even now, I see light moving through your bloodstream, blessing moving through your cells, peace entering your nervous system, balance returning to your mind, calm entering your breath, joy entering your bones. Beloved, healing often begins in silence, not with fireworks, not with a loud announcement, but with a still sacred movement deep inside. One that restores without needing an audience. One that begins before you even realize it. You haven't been ignored. You've been in process. You've been under the care of the Most High. Heaven saw where the wound began. Heaven saw where your trust was shattered, where you stopped believing healing was even possible. And instead of shaming you, God moved toward you, not to shame you, but to restore you. There is no shame in being tired, no weakness in needing rest, no failure in needing healing. The only tragedy would be not knowing that it's already begun. You are not being punished. You are being restored. Say this now: I am being healed. I am being restored. I am being made whole. Let those words meet the places where the pain still lingers. Speak them gently over your body. Let them land like oil on your skin. Because words like these create space for heaven to finish what it's already started. I, Michael, confirm that your healing is active. Your body is responding. Your soul is softening. Your atmosphere is changing. Your healing isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's relational. You will see it show up in your conversations, in your posture, in your energy, in your sleep, in your laughter. The healing isn't coming. It's here, right now, alive inside you, even if quietly. You will not live your life exhausted. You will not carry chronic fear. You will not lay awake afraid of tomorrow. You are being healed. Your sleep will return. Your clarity will return. Your joy will return. Your strength will return. Because God has already commanded it. Heaven isn't waiting for permission. It's already begun the process. And every day forward, you will see more of it revealed. Even the parts of you that broke long ago are being rebuilt. Even the habits that formed from survival are losing their grip. Even the numbness is thawing. Even the inner fight is slowing. You will know peace again, and not just for a moment, but as your normal. Say this again: my healing has begun. My body is responding. My soul is rising. These are not just affirmations. They are alignment. Your words are creating space for the divine movement to continue flowing. And I, Michael, stand at your side, as witness, as protector, as messenger, to remind you that no pain goes unnoticed, no ache is overlooked, and no prayer is ignored. The blessing is already moving through your bloodstream. You are more restored than you realize. And what you feel next: peace, strength, even the soft desire to hope again. It is not random. It is evidence. Beloved, let this truth wrap around you tonight. You are being healed. You are being remade. And you are being prepared for more. Stay with me. Because in the next part, I will reveal the heavenly sign confirming that you are covered and chosen, and why this protection was never lifted, even in your darkest hour. This isn't just a video. This is your sign from heaven. You are covered. You are chosen. And nothing formed against you can change that. Beloved, you didn't find this message by accident. Heaven sent it with your name attached. Because something sacred needed to be confirmed, that you are not walking through life uncovered. You are being protected even now. Psalm 121:7 declares, "The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life." That's not a hope. That's not a maybe. That's a divine promise. And I, Archangel Michael, testify before you. Now your name is marked in the angelic realm, not penciled in, etched, stamped, sealed. When I say you are covered, I don't mean lightly. I don't mean occasionally. I mean you are under active watch. 24 hours a day, soul to skin, generation to generation. The reason you're still here is because your name is known in heaven. When you sleep, you are covered. When you cry, you are covered. When you step into unknown spaces, you are not alone. You are not defenseless. You are not vulnerable. You are guarded by the command of God Himself. Protection is not passive. It is ongoing. It is fierce. It is tailored to your journey. Heaven does not hand out generic covering. It surrounds those with divine purpose. And beloved, that includes you. You may have felt unimportant. You may have believed the lie that you were overlooked. But the only reason the enemy fought so hard to break you is because he couldn't stop the covering. He couldn't get past the seal. He couldn't undo what God has already marked as chosen. I was there. When danger moved toward you, I blocked it. When accidents tried to happen, I intervened. When your name was whispered in envy, I lifted a shield. When fear tried to take your breath in the night, I stood by your side. That wasn't luck. That wasn't coincidence. That was divine protection surrounding your life. And not just yours. Your children are covered. Your house is covered. Your finances are covered. Your future is covered. Even the very air around your name has been saturated with angelic protection. Say it aloud right now, I am covered. I am chosen. Say it again until your mind believes what your spirit already knows. I am covered. I am chosen. And if you feel led, type it in the comments as a testimony. Write, I am covered. Let it echo publicly. Let the very words become a witness against the attacks that tried to silence you. You are covered. Not just for today, but for the days ahead. The moments you haven't even lived through yet are already protected. Because heaven goes before you. God is not reacting. He's leading. He's preparing the way. And the enemy cannot touch what heaven has claimed. Beloved, share this message with someone you know is under attack. Not to grow a following, not for numbers, but because someone in your life needs to hear this truth. They are not forsaken. They are not alone. They are not defenseless. They are covered, and they need to be reminded before they collapse under the weight of what was never theirs to carry. Heaven protects what carries purpose. That's why you've survived what others didn't. That's why your name still rises when the enemy tries to bury it. That's why you still have breath even after what tried to steal it. Because you are marked for more. And the covering is proof. There were battles you didn't have to fight because heaven stepped in. There were seasons that should have destroyed your peace, but somehow you kept going. There were nights when you weren't sure you'd make it. But here you are, not by chance, by covering, by grace, by divine assignment. Say it one more time, I am covered, I am chosen, I am still standing, and let that truth rise like fire inside you. I, Michael, stand as a witness, not of your pain, but of your preservation, not of your struggle, but of your protection. You are more guarded than you know, more surrounded than you feel, and more chosen than you realize. This is your sign. This is your moment. And this is your confirmation. You are covered. You are chosen. You are not forsaken. And heaven is not finished with you. Stay with me. Because in the next part, I will reveal the source of the generational curse that's breaking and why you were chosen to be the one to end it. Don't miss it. This protection was never meant to stop with you. It's flowing through your bloodline. And the curse ends now. Some of what you've been battling wasn't even yours. It was passed down. But now, It ends. Beloved, not every weight you've carried came from your choices. Some of the patterns, the pain, the spiritual pressure, they were inherited. They followed you from the womb. They moved through generations, quietly whispering through your family tree. But I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to declare that the curse ends with you. Exodus 26 says, "But showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments." God's mercy runs deeper than any generational sin. And that mercy is overtaking your bloodline right now. There were things spoken in darkness before you were born. Agreements made in ignorance. Doors opened through disobedience. Altars raised in rebellion. And the consequences echoed into your childhood, your relationships, your health, your finances. You didn't ask for the battle, but it found you. But hear this, you were not left unarmed. You were chosen. I, Michael, reveal to you now, there was an agreement made in your family line. It lingered. It repeated. It caused destruction across multiple generations. But it has now been revoked, torn in the courts of heaven, shattered by the authority of the one who sits on the throne. That curse that chased marriages in your bloodline broken. That sickness that showed up generation after generation severed. That poverty pattern overturned. That rage that erupted out of nowhere silenced. That shame that traveled from parent to child erased. You are the bloodline breaker. This is why your fight has felt heavier than others. This is why your warfare started before you even had words to describe it. Because your spirit was assigned to end what others could only endure. You've been called to shift history, and heaven is backing you. Healing is not just for you. It is flowing into your entire lineage. The very branches of your family tree are shaking under the weight of divine reversal. What once passed down as pain is being replaced by legacy. What once came through as torment is being redeemed as testimony. I see the name of your family being rewritten in fire. Where there was addiction, now freedom. Where there was dysfunction, now peace. Where there was division, now unity. Where there was secrecy, now truth and transparency. A prophetic shift has begun over your surname, over your household, over your children, and even over generations yet unborn. You are not just being healed, you are being turned into a vessel of generational blessing. Say it now with your own voice. It ends with me. Let those words run through your body like fire. Let them shake the foundation of what tried to follow you. Speak it until the atmosphere around you shifts. Declare it until heaven echoes it back. I break every curse. I release every burden. I receive every blessing. It ends with me. You are the first in your bloodline to break free. The first to say no more, and heaven heard it. The first to see the pattern and refuse to repeat it. The first to open your mouth in prayer when others turned to silence. The first to forgive what others chose to carry. The first to believe that things could truly change. And because of that, a blessing is being poured out. Not a small one, not a temporary one, but one that transforms everything it touches. Your children will speak differently. They will dream bigger. They will not inherit the battles you had to fight. They will grow up under the covering you chose to establish. Your home will carry peace. Your surname will carry honor. Your family line will carry fire. Not destruction, but revival. I, Michael, declare this over your bloodline. Every shadow that followed your family must leave now. Every hidden curse must lift. Every word spoken in secret must fall to the ground void. The hand of God is rewriting your family's story. And you, beloved child, are the pen He's using to write the new chapter. The struggle was generational, but so is the promise. The pain passed down, but so does the blessing. And now, the blessing is overtaking what the curse once claimed. The enemy has lost legal access. The courtroom of heaven has issued its verdict. The curse is broken. And in its place, blessing, peace, favor, health, wisdom, and strength. This is not a metaphor. This is not just spiritual language. This is happening right now. In the spirit realm, your lineage is shifting. The old records are being erased. The new scroll is being opened. And the first line reads, "This is the one who stood and said, 'It ends with me.' Say it again now. Say it until you feel the chains fall off your bloodline. It ends with me. It ends here. And what begins now is blessing. Heaven is honoring your stand. I have seen the prayers you whispered when no one else prayed. I have seen the choices you made that broke the mold. And heaven has answered with this decree: you are chosen. You are covered. You are clean. And your family shall be blessed because of your obedience. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will show you what the betrayal in your life really triggered, and why the very people who tried to break you unknowingly unlocked your breakthrough. They didn't just hurt you. They unlocked heaven's next move. Beloved, I know what they did cut deep. The betrayal was not small. It wasn't harmless. It wasn't easy to recover from. But you need to hear this now. Heaven saw it all. And what felt like your breaking point was actually your breakthrough being born. I am Archangel Michael. And I was present when it happened. I saw the conversation. I saw the look in their eyes. I stood between the slander and your soul. I stood between their false words and your purpose. I blocked what would have destroyed your spirit. Because what they did in the dark triggered what heaven was about to do in the light. Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows." That table is being set now, not in silence, not in secrecy, but in front of those who assumed you would never rise. You weren't wrong to trust them. You weren't foolish for loving deeply, but their betrayal did not go unseen. And more importantly, it did not go unredeemed. Their rejection was the release valve. What looked like a closed door was actually heaven's hand redirecting your path. What looked like loss was positioning. What felt like abandonment was alignment. You didn't just survive the betrayal. You were rerouted through it. Because heaven wastes nothing, not even pain. I, Michael, need you to hear this clearly. The pain was real. The disappointment was valid. The tears were seen. But what came out of it is greater than what it cost you. You thought they stole something from you. But in truth, they gave you access. Access to a level of healing glory and breakthrough they were never meant to accompany you into. There are some blessings that require a clean circle, some doors that only open after separation, some elevations that only happen after exposure. God saw what they said. God saw what they planned, and still He used it. Heaven used what hurt you to position what will heal you. The lie they told, it pushed you closer to truth. The way they walked away, it made room for something holy to enter. The silence they left you in, it became the place where heaven spoke the loudest. Say this now, what they meant for harm. God has already turned for my good. Say it again. Say it until the shame lifts. Say it until the weight shifts. Say it until you feel your posture straighten under the truth. You are not rising in spite of them. You are rising because of what they tried. Their betrayal was the soil your breakthrough was planted in. Their absence made space for new alignment. Their cruelty gave heaven an opening to flood you with peace. This is not to glorify the pain. This is to declare the power of redemption. Because nothing is wasted in the hands of your Father. I saw you on the night they turned on you. I heard the words they spoke behind your back. I felt the ache in your chest when the truth came to light. And I hovered near you, sword drawn, shielding your spirit from collapse. And I have this message now to deliver. Heaven has ruled in your favor. The betrayal was their decision. The breakthrough is God's. And no one can reverse what God has set in motion. Their exit wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Their silence didn't close your story. It cleared the noise so you could hear heaven more clearly. What felt like loss was really access. Access to deeper trust. Access to cleaner relationships. Access to your real assignment. Access to divine protection you didn't know you had. Say this with me: I forgive them. I release them. I receive what heaven is doing through this. It doesn't mean what they did was right. It means it won't rule over you anymore. It means the pain won't sit on the throne of your heart. It means the fire that tried to consume you is now forging glory. You are stepping into a season where the very ones who doubted you will watch God elevate you. Not for revenge, but for restoration, for witness, for glory. I see doors opening that their slander tried to lock. I see blessings overtaking the ground they tried to curse. I see your name being spoken in places they never imagined you'd reach. Because heaven is still writing. And this chapter is redemption. Their betrayal wrote the last line of the old chapter. But God's justice is writing the first sentence of the new one. You are not bitter. You are blessed. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not lost. You are being launched. And the glory that comes next will make sense of everything that hurt before. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will reveal what they tried to steal and why heaven is now returning it sevenfold. The justice of God is not delayed. It is already moving. And you are about to receive what was always yours. They thought they buried your blessing, but heaven never handed it over. They whispered against you. They conspired in silence. They made deals in the dark and thought no one would know. But I, Archangel Michael, was watching. And heaven never approved what they tried to do. Beloved, your name was never removed from the scroll. Though they tried to rewrite your story, heaven preserved the original. Though they plotted to wear the crown meant for you, they could not hold what wasn't theirs. Now the time has come. The thief has been caught, and the blessing is being returned. Not once, not twice, but sevenfold. Proverbs 6:31 says, "But if he is caught, he must pay sevenfold, though it costs him all the wealth of his house." This is not just poetic. This is divine law, spiritual order, heaven's decree. Every opportunity they blocked, every door they tried to shut, every lie they spoke, every relationship they sabotaged, every delay they orchestrated, God has commanded repayment. And what was withheld is now being released with interest. I saw what they tried to carry. I saw them covet the position God gave you. I saw them sit at tables and trade your name for influence. But I also saw heaven shake. I saw the scroll opened. I heard your name declared with fire. And I was sent to say, the crown they tried to wear now returns to you. What was delayed is now accelerated. The door that paused will now swing wide. The blessing that hovered will now fall. The dream that was interrupted will now run. Not because you demanded it, but because God ordered it. Heaven's justice is not just fair, it is overflowing. The enemy is not only forced to return what he stole, he must multiply it. Sevenfold. That's the law. That's the order. That's the recompense of the righteous. What looked like a loss was only a setup for the outpouring. What you cried over in private will be restored in public. What you whispered about in prayer will be shouted in testimony. Say it aloud, I receive sevenfold restoration. I receive what was stolen. I receive what is mine. Let the word stir something in your spirit, because the shift is already happening. I see the tables turning. I see the thief exposed. I see the vaults of heaven opening. And I see your name on the blessing that's being released. They thought their delay would stop your destiny. But delay does not cancel what God has confirmed. They thought their silence would bury you. But heaven has spoken louder. The weight of what you lost is now being matched with a greater measure of glory. And you will carry not just your original portion, but the multiplied portion required for your next assignment. I, Michael, declare this over you. You will not walk empty-handed. You will not live beneath your inheritance. You will not settle for the scraps left by the betrayers. You will feast at the table God has prepared. The thief tried to act invisible, but the hand of God pulled back the curtain, and what was done in darkness is now being reversed in the light. Blessing is overtaking you. It is catching up. It is pouring out. It is moving faster than you can comprehend. Because when heaven releases something in justice, it does not trickle. It floods. They cannot stop it. They cannot block it. They cannot claim it. It never belonged to them. It always had your name. Say this now, the blessing belongs to me. The enemy has no access. Heaven is restoring me. Let it echo. Let it speak louder than the shame. Let it silence the voices of doubt. You didn't lose. You were stored. You weren't denied. You were delayed for a greater release, and now that delay has expired. And the repayment has begun. What you thought was gone forever is returning in fullness. What you assumed was missed is arriving multiplied. What you barely had the strength to pray for is coming with such force you'll weep in gratitude. The blessing is not just financial, it's relational, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's generational. I see your children receiving what the enemy tried to cut off. I see your home filling with peace again. I see divine connections forming in place of betrayal. I see restoration not only meeting your needs, but birthing new dreams. You have been found faithful. You have endured the fire. You have withstood the pressure. And heaven has declared, it is time. Say this one more time, sevenfold. It is mine. I receive it. I walk in it. This is not the season of scraping by. This is not the season of wondering why. This is the season of divine justice, and I, Michael, was sent to deliver that message with the full authority of the throne. Stay with me, because in the next part we go deeper into the blessing that isn't just about you, but one that stretches beyond your name into generations. A legacy that cannot be stolen, and a covenant that will never be broken. What begins in you today will echo through bloodlines not yet born. This is not just about your healing. This is not only about your breakthrough. This is about every soul that will come through you, after you, and because of you. Beloved, heaven never sees in one direction. When God looked at you, He saw your lineage. He saw the ones you know and the ones you haven't met. He saw your children, your children's children, and every ripple your obedience would create. Genesis 17:7 says, I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you throughout their generations, for an everlasting covenant to be God to you and to your descendants after you. This blessing you're receiving, it's not a moment. It's a movement. It's a covenant that won't expire. It will stretch beyond time. And you are the one heaven chose to carry it. I am Archangel Michael, and I was sent to tell you heaven did not just see you. It saw who would come from you. And this blessing is not stopping with you. It's flowing through you. That's why the battle has been so fierce. The enemy wasn't just trying to break your faith. He was trying to intercept the future. But he failed. You stood. You believed. You stayed. And now your name has become a legacy. The blessing you carry is going to touch more than your lifetime. It will reach into places your feet may never walk. It will shelter your family from storms you'll never see. It will fund dreams that haven't been dreamed yet. It will protect children not yet born. And it will heal wounds that were passed down but never fully named. I see angels being dispatched not only for you, but for those connected to your lineage. They are standing in the rooms your grandchildren will live in. They are guarding the minds of future generations. They are sealing promises into your family name. Because the covering on your life is generational. Family healing is happening now. Cycles are breaking. Inheritance is shifting. Divine redirection is occurring even in places you thought were beyond your reach. The bitterness that once ruled your family dynamic, it ends now. The confusion that surrounded identity, it ends now. The patterns of fear, financial lack, and relational dysfunction, they end now. Because your obedience has opened the floodgates. Say it now with your voice. My legacy is covered. My bloodline is blessed. Let those words go before you. Let them wrap around your name. Let them touch the atmosphere in your home. You are not just a survivor. You are a sender. You are a builder. You are a breaker of cycles and a birther of blessing. Your name is now a legacy. Not because of perfection, but because of alignment. Because when you said yes to God, heaven marked your bloodline. There are prayers you've prayed that your grandchildren will walk in the answer to. There are declarations you've made that your children will repeat with power. There are choices you've made in the spirit that are protecting generations not yet formed. The enemy wanted your silence, because if he could silence you, he could confuse those coming after you. But your voice is alive. Your faith is loud. And your yes to God is creating pathways for others to follow. I, Michael, have seen it. I have watched the heavens write your name next to the word legacy. Not just chosen, not just covered, but established. Not just for now, but for generations. And I am here to witness the unfolding of a generational covenant, a divine redirection, a holy inheritance. This blessing, it's not small, it's not temporary, it's not for public performance, it's eternal. That's why it started in secret. That's why it took time. Because heaven doesn't build legacy on shaky foundations. It builds on faith. It builds on surrender. It builds on those who say, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." Say it again, my legacy is covered. And if this word has reached you, share it with your family. Let them hear it. Let them feel it. Let them know. It began with you, and it continues with them. You are the bridge between what was and what will be, between curses and covering, between silence and songs of praise. Heaven has chosen you to be the turning point, and your name is now written into a divine timeline. Your life has activated generational blessings, and nothing, no darkness, no delay, no past failure, can undo what has been sealed. You are not just a name. You are a line, a living scroll, a generational assignment, and the ink of heaven is writing glory into your legacy. Stay with me, because in the next part, I will show you why some people were removed from your life and how that separation was heaven's protection to preserve your legacy. You're about to understand why letting go was necessary for what's coming next. Heaven didn't subtract. It refined. You didn't lose them. You were released. Beloved, this is not the absence of love. It's the presence of divine order. John 15:2 says, "He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful." The cutting away was not cruelty. It was clarity. It was heaven's decision to preserve what's fruitful in you. I am Archangel Michael, and I was assigned to protect the assignment on your life. Some of that protection required removal. Not because you were unworthy, but because your future was too important to be delayed by those who could not carry it with you. There are people you grieved who were never meant to go with you into your next chapter. And I need you to know that was not your failure. That was heaven's intervention. I stood between you and certain voices. I rerouted connections that were coded in charm but carried no covenant. I intercepted relationships that appeared loving but masked manipulation. And when you wept in loneliness, heaven was already preparing a circle that would match your next level. You were not abandoned. You were refined. Letting go was divine mercy, not rejection. Heaven saw what you could not. The delayed healing, the subtle sabotage, the spiritual leeching that looked like loyalty. It had to be stopped. Some of the voices that left were distracting you from your divine voice. Some of the hands you held were sowing delay into your days. Some of the doors that closed were never meant to open in the first place. The separation was sacred. And though it felt like loss, it was actually your liberation. I, Michael, blocked the ones who would have delayed your destiny. They didn't see the weight of your calling. They didn't carry the oil required to walk beside you. They didn't honor the grace on your life. And so heaven honored you by removing them. You've been protected from partnerships that carried poison. Some relationships were tied to past pain, others to generational dysfunction, still others to soul contracts that were never meant to be eternal. And now that the noise is quiet, you can hear again. Now that the space is cleared, heaven is planting what's holy. Now that the tug of war has ceased, you're standing with both feet in your assignment. Peace has returned. And it's not random. It's the result of release. This loneliness, it wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It was the reset for restoration. You had to walk a little while in solitude so heaven could rewire your spiritual senses. So you could see truth without distortion. So you could build without compromise. So you could pray without divided loyalties. What once felt like rejection was actually God's redirection. And now your circle is sealed with purpose. No more counterfeit closeness. No more forced alignment. No more shrinking to stay connected. You are now surrounded by angels. And soon by people who see your spirit, not just your surface. You've been refined by fire. And what remains is real, pure, ready. God is not cruel. He is precise. When He removes, it's to make room. When He separates, it's to sanctify. When He closes, it's to protect what's still unfolding. Your heart has endured much. But I tell you now, you are lighter because of what left. You are clearer because of who stayed away. You are stronger because of what you walked through alone. You have not failed in love. You have simply graduated in discernment. Say this aloud with me now. I bless what left. I release what no longer belongs. And I welcome the connections heaven is sending. This is holy release. And release is part of restoration. The ones who remain, they will speak life into you. They will pray when you're silent. They will protect your purpose, not compete with it. They will understand your pace, and they will respect your process. You are entering a new season, and in this season, your circle must carry the same fire. Your table must echo heaven. Your relationships must walk in covenant, not confusion. Let what left stay gone. Let what faded remain in memory, not in movement. Let what ended stay sealed by grace, because what is coming will not require you to diminish who you are. It will not require you to question your worth. It will not require you to sacrifice your peace. You are safe now. And those who walk with you next will be aligned, assigned, and anointed. I, Michael, bless the space that has been cleared. I cover the new alignments forming even now. And I speak this over you: you will never again confuse subtraction with abandonment. Heaven only removes what hinders. Stay with me, because in the final part, you will receive the full blessing, the complete sealing, the divine invitation to return every day into this sanctuary of healing and protection. Your healing is not just beginning, it's been sealed. You can rest now, because the healing has begun and the protection is sealed. This is not just the end of a message. This is the beginning of your restoration. You made it through the storm, through the silence, through the separation, through the pain that almost convinced you that heaven had forgotten your name. But heaven didn't forget. Heaven has been watching over your coming and going, even when you didn't feel it. Psalm 121:8 says, "The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore." Right now, right here. This moment is proof of that promise. I am Archangel Michael, and before heaven closes this encounter, I am sent to speak one final word over you. Your healing is sealed. Your protection is sealed. You are covered. This was not just a message. This was a visitation. Heaven opened a window in time to whisper to your soul, to wrap your body in peace, to remind your heart that you are never alone. Your mind has been racing, but now it can rest. Your body has carried pressure, but now it can exhale. Your spirit has been under siege, but now it is surrounded. Heaven has placed a covering over you that cannot be shaken. Angels are standing at the door of your home. Peace has moved into the atmosphere of your bedroom. The healing you've prayed for is already moving through your bloodstream. You don't have to strive to be seen. You are already known. You don't have to beg to be loved. You are already chosen. You don't have to fight to be protected. You are already surrounded. I bow before you now in honor of your endurance. I saw you when you cried. I stood beside you when they left. I shielded your sleep when you couldn't pray. I fought battles over your name while you simply breathed. This is the reward for not giving up. There were moments you could have walked away, but you stayed. You kept believing when nothing made sense. You kept whispering prayers into the darkness. You kept your heart open even when it was breaking. And now heaven is answering. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are not broken beyond repair. Heaven has marked your name with peace. And peace is not passive. It is the loudest evidence of God's nearness. Let this be the night that changes everything. Let this be the moment your soul remembers you are safe now. You don't have to rehearse what they did. You don't have to relive what you lost. You don't have to fear what's next. You are covered. You are kept. You are held in hands that never tremble. Let this be the stillness your soul was craving. Let this be the holy hush that tells your spirit, I am here. Because He is right here, right now, and He's not leaving. You were carried to this message on wings unseen, and you are being carried out of it wrapped in divine love. Say this with me now: I receive the peace of heaven. I receive the healing that is sealed. I receive the covering that cannot be shaken. I am not alone. I am not forgotten. I am not afraid. I am held. I am healed. I am covered. Let that soak in. Let those words rise above every fear. Let them settle over your pillow like a blanket of light. Tonight, angels stand guard. Tonight, your past has no permission to torment your mind. Tonight, your dreams are protected. Tonight, your breath is holy. You can sleep now, because God is already in your tomorrow. The same voice that spoke light into darkness is speaking rest into your soul. The same hands that formed the stars are cradling your chest as you breathe. The same spirit that hovered over the waters is hovering over your home. There is nothing missing. There is nothing broken. You are whole in His eyes, and you are safe in His hands. Let go of the day. Release the pressure. Forgive what cannot follow you into tomorrow, and let this whisper be the last thing you hear before you sleep. You are protected. You are sealed. You are loved. Heaven has not just visited, it has settled. Here, in your space, in your body, in your breath, in your blood. You are not waiting for healing. Healing is already happening. You are not waiting for peace. Peace has already found you. I, Michael, now return to the throne with your name sealed in the sound of this moment. The scroll has been marked. The protection has been released. The blessing has been activated. Let it be known, you are not just heard. You are held. And this place, this sacred space where your healing began, will remain open. Whispered invitation, come back tomorrow. This is your sanctuary. And until then, rest in this benediction. You are protected. You are sealed. You are loved.